Hello there, folks. I'm Dan Brown from sortofinterestinglife.com. You're joining me on board my humble narrowboat home Tilly at the moment. As you can see there, I've got my bags packed, the bike's locked up indoors out of sight, and what a beautiful place this is to set out to go walking. We're about to hop on a bus to Llangollen, and as if by magic, here we are in Llangollen, stood on the famous bridge in the centre, and what a beautiful sight it is to be able to look over and see the river coming down. And up there, right in the centre of the screen, you might be able to see just a glimpse of the ruins of Dinas Bran, the castle on top of the hill that overlooks the valley, really. And of course, we couldn't pass over the canal without stopping and having a little clip up here at Llangollen as well. So, here we go, on the actual proper path up. Now, this walk's going to be a nice quick one, maybe about, 3.5 hours-ish. And we're first of all going to go up there. As you can see, it's a pretty steep hill, not too big, but very steep. That's up to Dinas Bran ruins itself, and then we're going to head over into all of those sort of rocky, crumbly-looking hills over there, which is known as the Panorama Walk. Again, I'm sure that every time I come out to Llangollen and go up Dinas Bran, it gets steeper and steeper every time. Or maybe, unfortunately, I'm just getting older every time I go out there. And I couldn't resist taking the super steep route up. You can see just from how dug in some of these footprints are leading up the hill here, how much, how well walked the really steep route is. And it's definitely an unofficial route up. And again, coming up into the side of the castle here, there's not much of the castle left, it's got to be said, but that does mean that you get this incredibly scenic sort of addition of the old crumbling ruins to such a backdrop as that. I mean, just look around at this. This is, again, as I say with so many places, this is straight out of Lord of the Rings, this is straight out of The Hobbit, straight out of practically any sort of swords and sorcery, fantasy, sci-fi sort of thing that you could imagine, especially these little archways that are left dotted about. And of course, there we are looking down to Llangollen, where we've just come up from. And again, I mean, what a beautiful place this is. And this is one of the things that I feel incredibly lucky to have grown up in all of this area, and then to have bought my boat to live on and be able to travel around so I can easily hop on a bus. It's probably about a 20-minute walk from the from the boat to where I caught the bus. Maybe a little bit longer than that, to be fair. And then 20-minute bus ride out from Chirk to Llangollen. And then, I don't know, maybe a half an hour walk from the town centre right up here, depends on how much you want to push it. And, I mean, how fantastic is that? What a place to be. Especially, as I say, if the first leg of the journey involves walking down the canal and over Chirk Aqueduct just to get the bus to get out somewhere even more spectacular like this. As we dropped off Dinas Bran and then walked up to the crumbly cliffs, as I will call them, rather professionally. I like to take these shortcuts where I just try and cut a super steep route straight up the side, and again, looking back over Dinas Bran to the left-hand side there, and across that scenery, what a place to spend the day. We certainly had mixed weather though, it was extremely windy, and when I say extremely windy, Dinas Bran is always very windy, but this is the windiest even I have ever seen it in all my years. And these are the little routes that I like to take where it's slightly off the beaten track, and, well, I suppose technically this is definitely on the beaten track, but walking up what is basically a little stream that runs down this little valley in the side here. This was a walk where I really broke my own rule of, for heaven's sake, make sure somebody knows where you're going. That's the important rule, and it's a rule that we should all obey. But I'd told people that I was heading out to Llangollen walking, and I didn't really have a route in mind until I got here, and I ended up doing this route, which was almost exactly like previous routes that I'd done, going up over Dinas Bran and then over into this sort of proper hilltop of the Panorama Walk area. But instead of cutting across and following the path over the top that was ahead of us there, I really wanted to walk around all of this steep outer part and enjoy the scenery properly, and just enjoy these proper sort of dramatic scenes and the big drops and all the rest of it, which definitely, looking at that now, is probably not the best idea to, well, say, oh yeah, I'm going to go walking, and then choose pretty much the most dangerous route I could find around one of the sort of most popular common walks that there is. is. So that's definitely not my best idea and best moment. That was a little slip that I had there, and I just wanted to put this in to say once again how stupid and how a simple slip like that could have led to disaster. You can see just then some of those steps that I initially took sideways, how steep it is, and again coming down to all of these cliffs just drop off for a good couple of meters at the very least in many places. I was trying to work my way all around this outer part and end up in the little valley we'll see where I came down. And ultimately, this part, I dropped down through that gap in the rocks that I was just pointing to. And then, as I was trying to slide down here, because it was extremely steep, ended up sliding proper a good 3 or 4 metres down, proper on me bum sort of sliding, and only stopped myself with me feet on the big rock that was just at the bottom of the view there. And that again was something that was such a simple thing, but so stupid and such an easy mistake to make that I could easily slid down a little bit further, missed the rock, and then rolled on to an awful lot of very sharp, very unpleasant rocks, or worse still, if I'd have failed to stop myself, found myself heading towards another one of those maybe 3 or 4 metre drops down, straight onto even more rocks. This was a pretty dramatic little bit of walking, it's got to be said, considering that it's a common walk to go up and over and then drop down into this valley to come down the river here, or the very little stream rather than river I should say. But again, because I hadn't really planned my route and I just thought, I'm just going to see where it leads. I was on such a steep side, and because it was still quite wet in the ground and it was very much a mossy, damp environment, there were many moments of like proper slipping with me feet and digging me hands and me nails proper into the ground and into the mud. And as I've said, that's definitely a lesson and something that I don't recommend anybody tries of, oh yeah, go walking but don't know where you are exactly and nobody else knows where exactly you are. So that's my advice. Don't be stupid like me. Even a nice simple walk like this around an area and hills that I know very well can easily just throw in those little moments of, oh, I've put my foot in the wrong place and now I've got a pretty bad injury. So those are definitely things to consider. Anyway, I suppose as we look back at where we've just skirted around amidst all of those cliffs, I will wrap things up and say thank you very much for watching. Check out my other videos for loads more walking and biking and general countryside scenery, and of course loads of living on a boat and all the scenery of the canals. Feel free to add me personally on Facebook and Twitter, or like the Facebook page for loads of updates and photos from life afloat. And of course check out my books available for the Kindle. Search Amazon for The Narrowboat Lad, or find links to everything just mentioned in the description below. Until the next time, keep it bootworthy, keep it boatworthy, and farewell.